10 hip-hop joke songs that became global hits. You know the names. You've heard them at every party for the last 30 years. What you don't know is that most of these tracks, the artists didn't even think they were real songs. Some started as B-sides. Some got recorded as pranks. Some were charity projects nobody wanted to touch. And one almost got the artist sued into oblivion before he ever saw a dime. But here's what the industry didn't see coming. Sometimes the biggest hits aren't the ones you planned for. They're the ones you almost threw in the trash.
I ain't talking about Playboy, cause silicone parts are made for toys.
Number 10, the Super Bowl Shuffle, Chicago Bears, Shuffling Crew, 1985. December 3rd, 1985. The Chicago Bears just lost their first game of the season the night before, 38-24. Monday Night Football. The whole country watched them fall to the Dolphins. And the very next morning, they're in a Chicago nightclub recording a rap song about winning the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl they haven't even qualified for yet. Half the team thought it was the worst idea in sports history. Defensive tackle Dan Hampton refused to participate, called it pretentious. And if you've ever made a bold prediction and had to eat your words later, you know exactly what these guys were risking. But here's what's crazy about this. The song peaked at number 41 on the Billboard Hot 100, sold over 500,000 copies, got certified gold.
No one here that doesn't like me, my Super Bowl shuffle will set you free.
And then, because the universe has a sense of humor, they actually went and won the Super Bowl. 46-10, destroyed the Patriots.
I'm the Punky QB, no.
Sometimes the most reckless bet is the one that pays off. And that's when a charity project becomes a cultural phenomenon.
Chicago, a Super Bowl champ, and we're not doing this because we're greedy. The Bears.
Number 9, Informer, Snow, 1992. A white kid from Toronto singing in Jamaican patois so fast nobody could understand him. The hook was a licky boom, boom down, and it went number 1 in 11 countries. Here's the thing the industry didn't know. Snow, real name Darren O'Brien, wrote this song in jail. He was locked up on assault charges, facing attempted murder. And while he's sitting in a Canadian prison, he's writing verses about informers and snitches to entertain his cellmates. MC Sean hears the demo, produces the track, and by the time Snow gets released, Informer is already climbing the charts, but Snow can't promote it, can't do American TV, can't tour the States because his criminal record won't let him cross the border. So the first number 1 dance hall rap fusion hit in American history, the artist couldn't even enter the country while it was at the top. It stayed at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 for 7 weeks, sold over 4 million copies, and if you were around when MTV had to add subtitles to the video because nobody could understand what he was saying, you remember exactly how wild this moment was. That's not supposed to work, but the streets don't play by industry rules. Yo, if you made it this far, you already know. You're not here for the algorithm highlights and TikTok clips. You're here for the real story. Here's what's crazy. 96% of people watching right now won't subscribe. They'll get the knowledge, then YouTube will bury us in their feed forever, which means when we drop that upcoming video, you'll never see it. Look, hip-hop radio ain't for everybody, but if you're still here, it's definitely for you. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter. Real recognize real. Number 8, Who Let the Dogs Out, Baha Men, 2000. The producer hated the song. The label hated the song. The lead singer of Baha Men refused to record it. But Steve Greenberg's, the guy who made Hanson's Mbop a hit, was convinced he could make it work. Here's what happened behind closed doors. Greenberg brought the song to Baha Men. Isaiah Taylor, their lead singer, said, "No way in hell." So Greenberg replaced him, brought in 3 young singers, rebranded the whole group, and then Mercury Records still didn't want to release it. So Greenberg walked, started his own label, put everything on the line.
280 cows calling them K9. Hey! But they tell me, hey, man.
In June 2000, some promotions director for the Seattle Mariners plays it at a baseball game as a joke for the backup catcher. 2 days later, Alex Rodriguez requested as his walk-up song. Then it's everywhere, #1 in Australia, #2 in the UK, won a Grammy for Best Dance Recording. And 30 years later, it's still the song you cannot escape at sporting events.
But you flea infested mongrel.
The song was ranked the 3rd most annoying song of all time by Rolling Stone, right after Macarena and My Humps. But here's what they don't tell you. It only peaked at number 40 in the United States, barely qualified as a hit by chart standards. And yet the cultural impact is bigger than most #1 songs will ever see. Number 7, Whoomp, There It Is, Tag Team, 1993. DC, the Brain Supreme, was a DJ at Magic City, an Atlanta strip club. He played Whoomp, There It Is the same day it was mixed. The crowd went crazy, requested it every night for months. So he borrowed $2,500 from his parents, pressed 500 cassettes, put them in one store, West End Mall in Atlanta, and then the blizzard of 1993 hit, shut down the entire city for a week. They sold out in 4 days, in a blizzard. Every major label had passed on the song, told them Miami Bass was too controversial, too provocative, would never work mainstream. And here's where it gets messy. A month before Tag Team released Whoomp, another group called 95 South dropped Woot, There It Is, almost identical phrase. Both groups said it was a coincidence, a common strip club chant from Atlanta and Miami.
Wave your hands in the air, shake the dairy, yeah. These 3 words mean you're getting busy. Whoop, hey.
Arsenio Hall had both groups on his show. Let viewers vote by calling a 900 number. But Tag Team's version stayed at #2 on the Billboard Hot 100 for 7 consecutive weeks. Couldn't get past UB40 and Mariah Carey, but it spent 24 weeks in the top 10. Longest running top 10 song of all time until Toni Braxton broke the record in 1997. 4 million copies sold, and the group that every label rejected became a one-hit wonder worth more than most artists with full catalogs.
Show you the way. There it is. Let me hear you say.
Number 6, Jump Around, House of Pain, 1992.
Jump around. Jump around.
House of Pain was 3 white guys from LA, Irish American, making hip hop in 1992. 2 years after Vanilla Ice became a punchline, the industry gave them 0 chance.
I'm the cream of the crop. I rise to the top. I never eat a pig 'cause a pig is.
But DJ Muggs from Cypress Hill produced Jump Around, built it on a sample that's still disputed to this day. Some say it's Prince, some say it's Junior Walker. DJ Muggs said it's neither, probably to avoid paying licensing fees. The music video was shot during the 1992 St. Patrick's Day parade in New York.
I got more rhymes than the Bible's got psalms. And just like the prodigal son, I've returned.
And here's what nobody expected. The song peaked at #3 on the Billboard Hot 100, became the most requested song at bars and clubs, because you don't need to know how to dance. You just jump around.
I came to get down, so get out your seat and jump around. Jump around.
And if you've ever been at a party where this came on and watched an entire room lose their minds, you already know the power doesn't come from the lyrics. It comes from the fact that for 3.5 minutes, nobody has to think. But here's the twist. The song ends with a diss aimed at Joe Nicolo, the guy who owned Rough House Records.
And I won't ever slack up, punk, you better back up. Try and play the role and you're the whole crew will act up.
Niccolo heard House of Pain's demo, then released Criss Cross's Jump a few months before Jump Around dropped. House of Pain thought they got bitten, thought their song was dead on arrival. Turned out there was enough room for everyone to jump that year. And Everlast, the frontman, went on to have a whole second career as a folk singer, because sometimes the joke is just the beginning. Number 5, You Can't Touch This, MC Hammer, 1990.
Look in my eyes, man, you can't touch this.
MC Hammer was a bat boy for the Oakland A's. Members of the team helped finance his rap career. His first album on an independent label sold enough to get Capitol Records to offer him $750,000.
Yeah, you can't touch this.
And then he made You Can't Touch This, built entirely on Rick James's Super Freak. The whole bass line, didn't ask permission, didn't clear the sample, just released it. Rick James found out when a friend told him the song was on the radio. He was in a car, heard it, and lost his mind.
You're down, a super dope homeboy from the Oaktown, and I'm known as such.
But here's the part that saved Hammer. James later admitted that when he found out how much money the song was making, he calmed down. They settled out of court. James got co-writing credit, half the royalties. And You Can't Touch This became the first rap song ever nominated for Record of the Year at the Grammys.
It is said if you can't prove this, then you probably are dead. So wave your hands in the air.
It only peaked at number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100, but the album, Please Hammer Don't Hurt 'Em, went diamond, sold over 10 million copies. And for a brief moment in 1990, MC Hammer was the biggest artist in the world.
Hold on, pump a little bit and let the noise go on like that.
The dance moves, the pants, the constant MTV rotation. Capitol Records sent out 100,000 free cassette singles to kids with letters from Hammer asking them to request the video. It worked, but the cost? James took half of everything. And Hammer's credibility in the hip-hop community never recovered. Too pop, too commercial, too much dancing. Sometimes you win the battle and lose the war. But when the battle makes you $30 million, maybe that's a war you're willing to lose.
Know you wanna dance, so move out of your seat and get a fire girl and catch this beat while it's rolling.
Number 4, Baby Got Back, Sir Mix-a-Lot, 1992.
To hell with romance and she's sweat, wet. Got it going like a turbo.
Sir Mix-a-Lot from Seattle makes a song about big butts. MTV banned the video. It went number 1 anyway. Stayed there for 5 weeks, won a Grammy, and became the second best-selling song in America in 1992.
Since won't like this song, cause them punks like to hit and quit it. And I'd rather stay and
Here's what people forget. This wasn't just a novelty track. Mix-a-Lot wrote it as a response to the beauty standards that told women with curves they weren't good enough. He told MTV it was empowering. MTV said it was objectifying. They banned it, then brought it back with a warning label, and the controversy made it bigger. But here's the cost nobody talks about. Mix-a-Lot later said his career never recovered from being known as the butt song guy. He made other music, had other ideas, but radio wouldn't touch it. The industry boxed him in. One-hit wonder, novelty act.
use me, cause you ain't that average groupie. I seen her dancing.
And if you've ever had success become a cage, you know that feeling. When the thing that made you famous is the same thing that stops you from ever being anything else. But that song changed the culture. It's been sampled in over 70 tracks. Shows up in movies every year. Nicki Minaj built Anaconda around it. And Mix-a-Lot still gets royalties from every single use.
Stick it out. Even white boys got the shout. Baby got back.
So the question becomes, would you rather be respected or paid? Because Sir Mix-a-Lot made his choice, and that choice still pays him decades later.
Average black man and ask him that. She gotta pack much back. So, fellas. Yeah!
Number 3, Ice Ice Baby, Vanilla Ice, 1990. The first hip-hop single to top the Billboard Hot 100, also the most controversial. Vanilla Ice, real name Robert Van Winkle, sampled Queen and David Bowie's Under Pressure, the whole bass line, no permission, no clearance.
They passed me up, could run it all, the dope beats. If there was a problem, yo, I'll solve.
And when asked about it in an interview, he claimed it was different because he added one extra note on the fourth beat. That defense became legendary for all the wrong reasons.
Listen, I sit back with my brand new invention. Something grabs a hold of me tightly.
Queen's lawyers threatened to sue. Bowie's team joined, and Van Winkle settled out of court. $4 million, plus songwriting credit for all 4 members of Queen and David Bowie on a song they didn't even know existed until it went #1. But wait, it gets worse. A guy named Mario Chocolate Johnson claimed he co-wrote the song.
Gunshots ranged out like a bell. I grabbed my 9, all I heard was shells.
Suge Knight, yes, that Suge Knight, showed up at Vanilla Ice's hotel suite with bodyguards, took him out on a 15th floor balcony, and according to Van Winkle, implied he'd throw him off unless he signed the rights over. Van Winkle gave up the publishing.
Problem, yo, I'll solve it. Check out the hook while my DJ revolves it.
So the biggest rap song of 1990, the artist lost the sample lawsuit, lost the publishing rights, got extorted by Suge Knight, and became the biggest punchline in hip-hop overnight. In Living Color parodied him as White White Baby.
The avenue's packed. I'm trying to get away before the jack is jacked. Police on the scene, you know what I'm...
Eminem later said when he first heard Ice Ice Baby, he felt like he didn't want to rap anymore. But Van Winkle still made millions. The song still plays everywhere, and 3 decades later, it's still the most recognizable rap hook from that era. The streets don't forget, but the royalty checks don't stop either.
A1A. Girls were hot, wearing less than bikinis. Rock men love.
#2, Rapper's Delight, The Sugar Hill Gang, 1979.
Rock the rhythm that'll make your body rock. Well, so far you've heard my voice.
Wait. The very first rap song to go mainstream was a joke? Here's what happened. Sylvia Robinson, owner of Sugar Hill Records, wanted to cash in on this new thing happening in the Bronx. She didn't know any rappers, so she went to a pizza shop in New Jersey, found 3 guys who could rhyme, put them in the studio.
I'm going down in history as the baddest rapper that ever could be. Now
Big Bank Hank, Wonder Mike, Master G. None of them were established MCs. Hank was a bouncer and manager for Grandmaster Caz. And here's where it gets messy. Hank used Caz's rhymes, word for word. Didn't tell him, didn't pay him, just took his notebook and recorded it.
you see, I got more clothes than Muhammad Ali, and I dress so viciously.
The first hit rap song in history contained stolen verses, but it worked. Rapper's Delight hit number 36 on the Billboard Hot 100, top 5 in the UK, and introduced hip-hop to the world. Before Rapper's Delight, rap was a live performance art in the Bronx. After Rapper's Delight, it was a global phenomenon.
To the boogie, say up, jump the boogie to the bang, bang, boogie, let's rock. You don't stop.
The song was 15 minutes long, built on Chick's good times. And the moment it came out, Nile Rodgers from Chick threatened legal action. They settled. Chick got writing credit, and Sugar Hill Records made millions.
You take a friend, I'm Master G. My mellow is on you. So
But Grandmaster Caz, he got nothing. His rhymes, his flow, and he watched it become the foundation of an entire industry while he stayed broke.
red and the brown, the purple and yellow. But first, I gotta bang, bang. The boogie.
That's the origin story nobody wants to talk about. The first commercially successful rap song was made by people who didn't write their own verses, stolen from a legend who never got paid, and yet it's the song that proved rap could sell.
They cost more money than a sucker could ever spend, but I wouldn't give a sucker off.
Number 1, the Humpty Dance, Digital Underground, 1990.
Me, I like to rhyme, I like my beats funky, I'm spunky, I like my oatmeal lumpy.
Shock G created Humpty Hump as a joke. Fake nose, Groucho Marx glasses, a character designed to mock the seriousness of rap. The label wanted a serious single. Shock G said, "Here's Humpty." They released it as a throwaway, and it became the biggest song of Digital Underground's career.
Biscuits also told you that I like to bite. Well, yeah, I guess it's obvious I also like to rock.
Number 11 on the Billboard Hot 100, went platinum. And if you were in a club in 1990 when the Do the Humpty Hump part came on, you already know the chaos it caused. But here's what made this different from every other joke song on this list.
Through I'm crazy, allow me to amaze thee. They say I'm ugly, but it just don't faze.
Shock G never broke character. Humpty Hump became a full persona, got his own verses on albums, did interviews, had his own mythology, and the wildest part, a backup dancer and piano player for Digital Underground at the time was a young kid named Tupac Shakur.
Stepping tall, y'all, and just like Humpty Dumpty, you're gonna fall when the stereos pop.
He appeared in the same song video, got his first exposure, and used Digital Underground as the launch pad to become one of the greatest rappers of all time. So the joke song that the label didn't want, it didn't just become a hit, it helped birth a legend.
Oh, yes, ladies. I'm really being sincere, cause in the 69, my Humpty nose will tickle your rear.
And Shock G kept Humpty alive until the day he died in 2021, because sometimes the joke becomes the legacy, and the character you create to make fun of yourself becomes the thing people remember forever.
To funk thee, and all the rappers in the top 10, please allow me to bump thee.
That's the ultimate twist. When the thing you did to not be taken seriously is the only thing anyone takes seriously.
Yeah, do you know what I'm doing?